Namaskar. Hello and welcome to PGurus channel. I'm your host 𝙒𝙧𝙤𝙪. Joining me today is Professor Ramesh Ganesan from formerly IIM-Bangalore. And we're going to be talking about tariffs and trade. And regardless of how this is going to play out with the United States, how India can emerge stronger from this, he has a few thoughts on this. And now let's welcome Professor Ramesh. Professor Ramesh, Namaskaram and welcome to PGurus channel. How are you, sir?
Sorry, 𝗏𝙗𝙧𝙤, very nice. Thank you. It's always a pleasure to join your platform. In fact, you are providing a platform for people like us, who would like to share our views with the people. And these are some independent thoughts and more analysis, not reactions, responses, and statements and like that. Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. And I'm going to set the ball rolling. Just hours before this comes news that the talks for free trade agreement with India have been indefinitely put off. It was supposed to have been between 25th or 27th of August or something of that nature, and that has been put off indefinitely. We all knew that all this anger and bluster has been because of India's support or buying from Russia, whereas the irony is, in fact, I did a monologue on this. India is not even buying, it's buying even less than 20% of all of the Russia's exports in energy for the past 3 years, ever since the conflict started. So there are bigger enchiladas in the room, and yet Trump has singled India out. So this is where we stand. So I think the best thing for India to do is to prepare for the worst case scenario. So you have done a lot of work in putting together this slide deck, sir. So I'm going to defer to you. So let's go along, and then you can tell me when to change.
One clarification: that 25% is also postponed now, no? Extra 25%.
Yeah.
Postponed. So
that is postponed, but only till 27th August, I think.
Oh, okay.
But he kind of let it dangle a little bit. What he said was, we'll be looking at that again. He's more consumed with how to make peace rather than a ceasefire with Russia. He thinks that he has an in, although I have my doubts, because the most coveted land is the land that both countries want. Donbass region, where there are alluvial soil for huge agricultural revolutions, as well as all the rare earths, much of that stuff there. So it's not going to be given up so easily. Let's wait and see how that plays out. So right now, I think he has said, okay, let me first solve this problem. It appears. So maybe he has put it off. So let's say 25 to 50%, somewhere where the ball falls. Over to you, sir.
In international relations, resources is a big nemesis. If you look at even Middle East and all, why did Europe and America got interested in that? Because of its resource, and now even Balochistan is becoming famous. And so that way, next focus could be even Balochistan. Once Ukraine is solved or something like that. Yeah, thank you. I wanted to put out some views because I've been seeing. I've been observing, of course, the international relation and diplomacy for last 40 years, and I keep writing about it, talking about it, and like that. I'm also a public policy professor, as you know. Okay, one thing you will be surprised here: you visit any embassy or consulate on any day in India, okay, you will find maximum crowd outside the American embassy or a consulate, okay. But you may not find that probably outside Russia or China or Europe, countries like that. So what I would say is that people always want a good relationship with America. And I've been seeing it right from the NAM days, that is the non-aligned movement days. Government was always pro-Russia and people are always pro-America. Okay, though in our views, we could be socialistic. We want more, socialism and things like that, protection and all that. But you look at the cues and then the preference of the people is clearly America. Okay. Second thing is America, I'll just make some preamble before I move to this. Second thing is America has always been unlucky. Even during the NAM days, I used to see that America used to spend a lot of aids to all the developing countries. But when it comes to UN voting, everybody will vote for Russia. Okay. And somehow it has not been able to translate, its economic power into really, let's say, diplomatic power or a policy, policy power and like that. So that way it has been a bit unlucky, and we were in fact leading the NAM movement and like that, if you really remember. Okay. And third thing is, I should say that this government, if you see Modi ji, if you really see, One, it never reacts. It has been only responding, whether it is Bangladesh or Maldives or even Pakistan, we take our time to respond. Some, I don't know, in this case, why we have been reacting like that. If, I mean, Trump has said 30 times that, I solved the Pakistan India problem. We responded 29 times. No, you didn't do that. Okay, normally we don't do that. And that's because of, the government is really responding to the local opposition in the parliament and outside, rather than really responding to Trump. Okay, but that's has its own ramification. It could have been probably diplomatically handled in a different way, spelled out differently and like that. But what I would say about Modi ji is that, especially in the international relation, if you see, he is putting enough punch in the international arena with $4 trillion, which you can do. Okay, maybe, if you put Modi there, you put India there, and if we also have $10 trillion, we'll be very different. We can only punch so much that $4 trillion, gives you the power. So our people are, sometimes I'm looking at other channels and, experts and think tanks and like that. No, government should do this. We don't need, we don't need US. We don't need this. Russia has been supporting and things like that. Russia has been consistently supporting us, no doubt about that. Maybe ever since second 5-year plan, I would say, when we put out the steel plant and IITs and like that. America also gave plants and then IITs like that. Okay, but in all the wars, Russia has been supporting to us. But look at the current context, which is entirely different from maybe what you would have seen last 20-25 years like that. You've got very mercurial leaders. I can even imagine, let's say, Trump being mercurial, Putin being mercurial like that. This Zelensky is mercurial. Okay. And then, I don't know with what punch he puts. Everything is borrowed. Okay. He's firing through others' shoulders, but then he's trying to be so mercurial. Before the talk started, he already aborted the talk. If you really see the Alaska talk and like that. Okay. He started giving statements already. Okay. So another problem that happened, there's a book on groupthink. During the Cuban crisis, this happened. When you got a very mercurial leader, then other advisors get overshadowed. They are only echoing the leaders. Probably informally, they could be advising or something. But you only ask the question with such leader, who is advising them? Okay. And we hope we have, they listen to the advice, and then their advisors with strong, logical thinking and like that. Another thing I've seen that, all the nations today have reached a point. Okay. If Pakistan says that, I can say, because it has nothing to lose. Okay. But every other country says that, no, nation first at any cost, And we also say, many times, 𝗐𝗙𝗍 कीमत पर and things like that. Okay. So we are all ready for short-term cost, but what are we really, targeting at? Okay. What will it really get us? That's really the point that we should be really thinking about. Okay. And then don't respond to others. In the sense, what is happening is that I was listening to a media channel, very popular media channel. It had American experts, think tank, and then from the media and like that. And our people have been really berating them. And we could have been probably more politely putting out the point, because what happened, they will carry back to the establishment. And that can again have, unnecessary consequences and like that. Whereas we should really look at, opening more channels to talk to them, not really shut down the channels and make them negative unnecessarily. If you really mean it, let's do that. If you don't mean it, let's not do that. That's a point that I would really make. And look at it. There are agent provocators on that side. There are agent provocators on this side. Suddenly they will talk about Russian oil. Okay. Suddenly they have been talking about Russian oil. But when Trump seems to remind, somebody seems to again forget, then somebody seems to remind that, oh, there is this Russian oil. I heard that somebody put out the data to Trump saying that this is the track record on, Russian oil and things like that. That is obviously to provoke Trump into taking some action and like that. So I'm just trying to paint the diplomacy as it played out today. And we have got the best diplomats globally, I would say. The combination of Modi ji, Jaishankar, and NS Dowell, if you ask me. I don't think any other nation can really boast of. Of course, Russia, they say they've got a great foreign minister. And US also has but the way these people have been working and handle all other crises have been exemplary. But somewhere this seems to be not really falling into that pattern. Maybe I've seen even the case of Maldives, a very small country, not much of consequence. Even there we had impact for 3 to 6 months, and slowly things started reversing like that. So hopefully here also things will start reversing like that. So what has happened is that everybody has got together here. I mean, the media experts and history. Suddenly, somebody put out the Nixon time, what happened during the Bangladesh war, and then the Seventh Fleet and all that. I don't think even America remembers that, but we keep on reminding ourselves that this happened, this happened. So there are these people here, who wants to remind what happened then, what happened now, and things. History is important, man. I don't really say it's not, but at what time you remember also matters. I mean, really when you are in crisis time, and then you really remember the history, and that is really provocative for me. I mean, that's where I would really put it. Media experts, and if you look at it, there is, next slide I'm putting it. So there is the deep state there, there's a deep state there, and there's a network among them. Okay, and they are feeding each other. It happened with Pakistan. You remember, they'll put out a statement, and our opposition will take it up, and then Pakistan will play it up. Like that, it's really, escalatory, I would say. Nothing is de-escalatory today. And can you imagine, I was talking with the agent provocators, suddenly 𝙒𝙧𝙤𝙪 became a popular figure. He says that, no, we've only allowed India to import oil. We don't know really how that happened. Maybe they ignored, like the traffic policeman ignores a cab guy jumping the signal or something like that. But doesn't mean that you are really encouraging or promoting or like that. But the point is, he was not at all a favorable person. I mean, he has done a lot of, we know how he was when he was ambassador in India. Suddenly, how does he become hero? Because we just want to pick up something here, something there, and then blow up the thing. There are some stakeholders here who want to really set up things to fail, if you really ask me. Okay, negotiations and all, if you see. Okay, rather in any negotiation, you really go to negotiate, isn't it? Not to sabotage. And today it looks like, people are really, that's another aspect of being mercurial. Okay, when you say again, at any cost, this is what it all adds to that. It really means that, like, what, I don't have any stake. What is the stake of people are asking Zelensky in Ukraine, for example? Is that he has put Ukraine at stake, isn't it, for his own
Yes.
sustenance and extension, existence, and like that. So such people are really dangerous, if you really ask me. Yeah, even now, if you look at Modi ji is mercurial, but he is very measured. He will never. That's why probably many times he speaks in Hindi, because he can choose the appropriate word. And in fact, it may be difficult to translate him appropriately in English, but he can really express himself. Okay. And Modi ji, accepting during election time, again, he will tell, I'm waiting for the election time, Bihar election, to know what really happened in Sindoor. Okay, that time he will really open out how many planes we lost, how many people they lost. How many planes they lost, how many people they lost, and things like that. But during when the talks are on, he will never do anything to really provocate or sort of escalate and things like that. And somehow, I hope track 2 will be happening, and track 2 is happening. With both US and Russia, and then probably in Alaska, they might have discussed India also. Or they may not have. But the reality is that when you are doing that, you have to empower the people who are positive to you, not empower the people who are really negative. These are the sort of things that we say in international diplomacy and like that. Today, what's happening is that suddenly, like, people like 𝗥𝗘𝗙𝗘𝗥𝗘𝗡 feel empowered. Okay. And whom we were not listening, and probably I don't know how much the US was also listening. And again, us in visit, nobody would have even noticed him going there and coming and things like that. But he's exactly, he's like Musharraf. Musharraf also made a best use of the crisis. Asim is also making best use of the crisis. And see, America may be dealing with them, but they will have no respect for Pakistan. America may not be dealing with us, but they have respect for India. Okay, that's the sort of the difference, that the difference, the relationship, and the way we have projected ourselves and the way we have handled ourselves, like that. Yeah, next.
This is the next
And
slide, sir.
yeah. So increasingly, the way we had to do it, we are escalating and making the points. Like, for example, Trump, I mean, I don't know how you negotiate like that. We will negotiate after we reach a decision. Okay. I mean, negotiation is to reach a decision. Okay. So, similar, I mean, that's something as far as preposterous position to take. But then we had to handle that, I mean, and we had to see how to really de escalate that point. And I mean, you cannot take it to irreversible point. What's happening, Sriji, when you're talking like this in the open, you're also sort of programming yourself and you're also programming your own people towards that purpose. Okay. Then it's very difficult to reverse the people's mind also, public, even if you had won, it would look like, okay, you're compromised when you I mean, take irreversible positions and like that. I'll give one simple example. If you do a content analysis of public statements, by leaders in the last 1 year or 6 months, imagine how many times people would have mentioned this word World War III, and then nuclear war. I mean, these are not so normally spoken in international diplomacy and in negotiations like that. Today, people are freely dropping it. I mean, I wonder if they really know what it could mean and how catastrophic it can be and like that. Okay, so these are not, I mean, not, or normal times, I would say. Okay, and again, as I said, avoid letting that internal compulsions dictate our agenda like that. So he has got his own. People say that he wants Nobel Prize. I think we have to dehyphenate from those narratives. We have to really dehyphenate from his problem with Democrats, probably. Just as we have to dehyphenate. We were talking about dehyphenating ourselves with Pakistan. Now we are getting hyphenated with Ukraine. I mean, we found the map only after the war started. Then only I got to know that there are students going there and doing MBBS. Otherwise, nobody would have thought that
20,000.
20,000. I mean, I cannot even imagine, what are they doing there? Okay. And imagine you cannot even create so many seats here. I mean, 20,000 seats at will here, if you want to even create there. Now what is happening? We are getting hyphenated with everything. Now you remember one person made a statement saying that if the talks fail in Alaska, there'll be more tariff on India. You remember the Hindi dialogue? If I hit here, it will pain there like that. She'll start crying.
Mm,
They'll say,
mm, mm.
It's as if like they, put tariff on India and then Russia will be worried, or we will react and think like that. These are, I mean, I'm telling you, in my 40 years, I'm listening to some of these things for the first time. In this sort of narrative setting, how do you present and how do you articulate yourself and like that? I mean, it does happens like that. And so, as I said, that empower each person. I mean, I would rather be engaging with ones rather than scarcity to really take our position and articulate our positions and like that. And finally, I would say that if you really look at, do we need US or not? Yes, we need. I mean, yesterday I heard somebody talking about our dependency on US is not so much. You look at it this way: the top 5, 6, I would say growth drivers are really like Gurgaon, Noida, Chennai, Bangalore, Hyderabad, Pune. What is driving them? Software. Okay, and most of our export is to, I mean, America. Second, and then so both the growth cities, growth drivers, if you see the critical one, which are really keeping up the exports up, or even simple take Coimbatore, Salem, Ludhiana for governments, or take Surat for diamonds. Okay. All these cities can take a hit if the tariffs really come into play like that. Finally, I hope everybody hopes, even the traders are all hoping it will not be 50%, maybe somewhere around 15% and like that. Okay. 15 to 20, or I mean, in one of your discussions, I heard that somebody said almost 12% was reached and like that, the rates and like that.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
the critical cities, critical sectors can get hit, and some of the sectors I'm talking are all highly labor intensive. So that way there can be impact. The dependency is not there so much. It will take some reaction time to respond and then recover. But we don't need it. I mean, I think Modi was very clear, and I really support him on that. Until we reach $10 trillion, let's keep some of these things down, and then let's keep, stay focused on the development. That has been his stand, and I hope that's how it will be like that. So I would say that, I mean, so this government should distance from the ecosystem. I found even BJP spokesperson very belligerent. They need not be, I mean, and they need to really look at resolution. And as I said, at any cost means you are willing to take the panga, okay, but you should have some end state in mind. What is the end goal you want to achieve, end state you want to achieve? For example, in Operation Sindoor, the generals beautifully put it out. They said we had the objective, we fulfilled, and we stopped the war. Okay, it's not like you have to continue fifth day, sixth day, like 18th day till probably like in Mahabharata it happened, Duryodhan died or something like that. Okay, so we should. I hope our government has got some end state in mind, end goals in mind. Then they should really work towards parallelly and track to like that. Otherwise, we don't need it. We are really on a growth path. We are really doing well, 6% plus and things like that. And it's best we avoid any shock. In fact, we can even avoid talking about, Operation Sindoor still live and then real, continuing and things like that. If you really mean that, we should say that. Not like dropping words and like that. Because what I'm saying is that the industrialists and markets and all, they need certain stability always. Okay, and they need certain, future scenario like that. They cannot be really coping with all this uncertainty forever like that. Though I trust completely our government, I am sure they'll be doing all that. But somewhere I felt that the temperature is going up like anything, and we hope we can really douse it and then bring it to some, area. Now I would like you to know your view. In the sense, how is it that? How does
Sir,
it look like from as a American? As an Indian there,
so the hard truth is what you brought out, Professor Ramesh, that
Mm.
the growth of India has been brought about because of software, especially starting with the Y2K, and like a rising tide that lifts all the boats. You see prosperity very, very apparent in cities like Gurgaon, Hyderabad, especially in the Cyberabad area, Bengaluru, Koramangala area. I think Bengaluru is all over. It's in fact now that prosperity has spread to the adjacent city Hosur, which is in Tamil Nadu.
Yeah.
Because they are running out of space in Bangalore, so they are coming to Hosur, and that has become a municipal corporation on its own. And so the point I'm trying to make is that it's because of all these software requirements and growth being the back office capital of the world at one point of time. Maybe today India might be balanced with other countries. Philippines, for example, is doing a lot of the stuff that India used to do 15 years ago. India needs to go up the food chain, and there are some challenges of that nature. So this is the basic fact. Nobody can walk away from this. They are trying to crack down on H1. They are also trying to crack down on the student visas. So there are two things at play here, Professor Ramesh. One is that there is a genuine fear that perhaps the really qualified students from India are able to outmuscle the local talent, and local talent is sort of not into the STEM, which is what they call engineering, science, technology, engineering, and I think medicine or math. I think it could be math, STEM. And so what is happening is US is hollowing out from inside. There is a genuine concern about that. So be that as it may, I know many companies who have abused the H1B scheme. So some parity will emerge, something clear will come out of the dust. You have to be a little bit patient. I had already warned about 3 months ago that the parents should wait for 1 semester or 2 semesters for the dust to settle before sending their children to abroad for studies. Because you take Canada, you take UK, you take US, everywhere there is a lot of uncertainty right now. So be that as it may.
One point here. So you talked about. What is the first point you said? If
rising tide lifts all the boats. Yeah.
On a lighter vein. Okay, when you're talking about Bangalore and other city, if there is Thanksgiving Day in US, Bangalore is free of traffic. Okay. And if there is a meltdown in US, we have got a real estate meltdown in India. Okay. Now imagine, so how do we say that we are not dependent on US and things like that? Okay. It's not so, we are not so diversified. We'll diversify now. Again, these are the positive points that will happen from this. We will diversify it across nation, because all the governments and everybody is only focusing on US and like that. Second thing I would say is that if they come down on H1B, if they come down on, admissions and like that, who are the guys who are going, going abroad? Probably they missed out on CAT or JEE and things like that. Okay, it's not like, I mean, all the top-notch guys are going there like that. Now, if they come back and settle down here, it again benefits India only. We are sending the best brains outside, if you really see, isn't it? We stand to gain. But I would say that that's all settled argument. I mean, we are no longer bothered with people going and working there or working here, because there's enough, we have supplies and enough demands, we have like enough opportunities and all that, So it's not, I mean, it's not government's position to really promote education in US, isn't it? So that is a supply and demand, and they take the call and like that. Yeah.
So what's going to happen, and I've been saying this for at least now 8 to 9 months, Professor Ramesh, I've been telling people, if you are out of a job, you have a good programming experience, you're out of a job, 6 months learn Sanskrit, and after that learn Russian. There's a lot of need for Russian programmers, and when this war stops, whether it is Ukraine or Russia, they need a lot of programming talent. Don't limit yourself to just knowing, okay, I know English, I know Python, I know this, I know that. I mean, everything has a shelf life, Python also has a shelf life. There's something new coming always. So my point is that you can, but the basic skills of programming don't go away. Language is only one way to express your thought. The flowchart is what defines what your program is going to do. So this maturity needs to be there for many of us, so that we know that you can choose the right path. Somebody gave me a very interesting example. He said there are two people, practically classmates. One person is working in New York, earning $160,000 a year, and the other person is working in Dubai, earning $32,000 a year. It turns out that the amount of savings at the end of the year, the Dubaiya is actually saving more. Why? Because he's not paying taxes on his salary. A lot of things are not very expensive in Dubai.
Correct. And you have to just take one home loan in US. That's all. Rest of your life will be repaying.
That's it. You're done. You're done. Very true. Very true.
I mean,
it's a very, very difficult scenario. So one of the jokes that's happening in California now, sir, is that they have opened their gates for close to 3 million illegals. Of the 12 million, one quarter is in, 1 in 4 is in California. And now that sanctuary city status is gone, all the funding that used to come for California to house its illegals is all gone. So where are they going to go and find the money? It's all coming to the people who are living in California for the quality of life. I put it in double quote because the ground is shaking every minute. And for that, you have to pay double insurance, double in utilities. But even those have a limit. You cannot just keep on fleecing the people. So there is an irrationality about the whole thing. Trump is trying to shake a lot of things up. He's creating chaos so that order will emerge out of it. So this is a bit of a hit and miss game. And you have to be a little bit patient. You have to think for yourself, what do you want? What do I want in life? I mean, if I was, if I was like seeking a job now, I would not even go to US. The quality of life here is so much better. Sir, with Starlink coming, even in your small remote village, you'll be able to connect at very high speeds. For programming, you just need internet connectivity. And 99% of the stuff it can get done just being connected to the internet. So there's a paradigm shift that is taking place. Those of us who can, see that thing and ride it, will benefit from that. So thank you so much, Professor Ramesh. This is something like a food for thought, viewers. Again, you are going to see something that's probably not the mainstream opinion. Professor Ramesh has a very, very good perspective on this. Don't, you can write your comments and you can say, oh, you guys are all paid by US. Nobody is paid by US. They don't care what we say or not say. We are trying to give you a different perspective to look at things. So please look at it from that point of view. All comments are welcome. Please keep your language nice. Sir, if you would like to conclude.
Yeah, so I agree with you. I mean, this is just to put a different point of view. But again, I support this government, and I know how they have been handling various crises and things like that. And again, they'll bounce back. Okay, and Modi will be talking to Trump maybe 6 months down the line, 3 months down the line. In
September, he's going to meet him in September in UN General Assembly.
In a very free way, let's say, the way they used to meet earlier. In September and all, there can be still some contentious issues and all that, but he knows how to handle it. I mean, so as I said, we have got the strong leadership, but definitely let's not react to the ecosystem. The leadership should stay, fixed on what is the end state we want, end goal we want, and prepare the ecosystem also for that. Otherwise, the ecosystem is really going out of the control, and it's provoking each other, and it's really suiting each other actually, isn't it? I mean, and that's something I want to break that cycle. I think that cycle has to be broken. Otherwise, it's really getting escalated. What do you call it? Explosive cobweb.
Yes, very true, very true. Thank you so much, sir. And we'll be back again with Professor Ramesh very soon. Namaskar.
Thanks a lot. Thank you.